Aha. But now we're out of the area of film, and we're talking about how we apply this concept to the study of Shakespeare. Shakespearean genres. Anybody have an idea how many there are? More. Three. Very good. 3 genres of Shakespeare. Now, Allie, to be fair, only 2 ever really merit our attention in high school or even really in college. In fact, I took, I believe, 3 specifically Shakespeare courses through graduate and undergraduate work, and never was I assigned a play in one of these 3. The other 2 were all we were talking about. First one, tragedy. You have read a tragedy. This is the Shakespearean genre with which you are familiar. Read one last year, studying Romeo and Juliet. History. This is the one that largely goes ignored. Most classes ignore it. They tend not to be as interesting, although some of them definitely have their moments. But serious students of Shakespeare, like they're making it their kind of life, their college, academic, doctoral life, will study histories of Shakespeare. The last one, of course, is comedy. So when Allie answers 2, she's probably thinking about the twin faces of drama, the happy face and the crying face, the comedy and the tragedy. Shakespeare simply throws a third one in there, history. Blankness, nothingness, sort of minimalist, postmodern expression, people standing on stage, staring back at the audience, expecting them to make their own play. That's a very 20th century kind of move. Yeah. But Shakespeare's not doing that so much. Why? Because that would make the audience have to think and work, and that's bad. All right, tragedies. Let's start with tragedy first. If you were to sort of sum up tragedy very quickly, what's the primary characteristic of tragedy? Marissa? Play results in death. Remember what I told you about Shakespeare. Sophocles likes to torture and leave his tragic heroes alive, a shambling mess on the stage, so they can continue to suffer. Shakespeare kills them, but he doesn't just kill them. He uses them as a tragic hero hand grenade that kills the tragic hero and anybody within a radius. So there are a number of subsidiary deaths around the person. You've seen this in Romeo and Juliet. Romeo dies, Juliet dies, Paris dies, Tybalt dies, Mercutio dies, and wasn't it Mama Capulet that walks off stage and dies of a heart attack? Yeah. Yeah. So a number of people die within that play. Hamlet's the same. Hamlet dies, his girlfriend dies, his father dies, his uncle dies, his mother dies, his girlfriend's brother dies, his girlfriend's father dies, his 2 best friends die. And we're up to 10 with Hamlet. A play which results in death. However, we will not study Shakespearean tragedy. We study Greek tragedy. But if you want to understand Shakespearean tragedy, you must understand that Shakespeare knew his Greeks. Shakespeare read his classics. Classics refer to Greek and Latin works. He knew his Aristotle, he knew his Sophocles, and his tragedies are fairly similar to what Aristotle described. Tragic hero contains what 3 characteristics? Tragic flaw of some sort, yes. High status. Yeah, that's about the plot. I'm talking about the characteristics of the hero. We've got high status, we have a tragic flaw. Has to have some sort of sympathy, some sort of likability, has to be, in Aristotle's case, virtuous. That's what he said. There must be virtue in this person. Romeo and Juliet, twin tragic heroes. We have 2 tragic heroes in that play. You can't really identify one as primary over the other. High status, fairly obvious. They're the privileged son and daughter of wealthy families in Verona. What's their likability? Why do we like them? Because they're cute. I watched that movie and it was Leonardo DiCaprio and oh, it's so dreamy. Yeah, what? Oh, because they can't have what they want. But do we admire what they want? We like that they want to erase this civil war so they can allow love to conquer all, right? That's great. When Romeo throws himself at the feet of Tybalt and says, I cannot fight you, I love you, my cousin. And that move, for me, is very affecting. I think that's a very powerful moment in the play when Romeo says that. And I admire him for saying that. It's one of the only times in the play that I like that whining, sniveling brat. Oh, man, his introduction over the "Oh, Rosalind" thing drives me nuts. What's their tragic flaw? No, that's not a flaw. Shh. I think what you're getting to, Faye, and I think you've got it, is his impetuousness, his impatience. His passion drives him to do everything right now. So when he walks into a party and he sees Juliet across the room, he says, oh my gosh, she's beautiful. I love her. Completely with my very soul. I'll start stalking her. Okay. Juliet, I love you. Oh my gosh, I love you too. We should get married. Yes, we should. Tomorrow. Yes. What are you doing at noon? Nothing. All right, meet me here. We'll get married. Yes. Right now. 2 days later, that's right. Oh my gosh, my wife is dead. I must kill myself right now. The audience is screaming, you idiot, wait, 5 minutes. Just give me 5 minutes. She'll wake up, I promise. Their impetuousness, which makes sense that they are so young, because that is a characteristic of youth. The characteristic of youth to be both boldly passionate and to have absolutely no patience whatsoever. So I think that Shakespeare did sort of capture nice youthful characters in Romeo and Juliet. But the point is that it's all part of the tragic genre. He is just following Aristotle's rules in constructing those characters, and everything else falls out in the same way. History. History is fairly simple. It's a play which recounts the history of a British monarch. So Shakespeare is doing a little bit of politicking here, especially because the stories that he tells are very, very complementary to those in power. Who's in power at the moment when Shakespeare writes his plays? Queen Elizabeth. Therefore, he is very complimentary toward the Tudor family, the lineage of Henrys and so on. He is very hostile toward those who oppose the Tudors. It's all right. It's all right. Okay, maybe it's not all right. Everybody throws pencils at her. Oh, I forgot to mention, in tragedy, what are some of our famous titles from Shakespeare? We've got Romeo and Juliet. What other? Hamlet, Othello, King Lear. Much Ado About Nothing's a comedy. So those are Julius Caesar, Macbeth. These are some of your famous names. In history plays, Henry V, Richard III, Henry IV, Part 1, Henry IV, Part 2. I think you get the sense of what's going on there. Now the question. Oh. Dun, dun, dun. Well, I think it's time for not one, but 2 video clips. We should ask ourselves first, what is comedy?